What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys the Week 2 Team Builder for the WPL, or the Western Pokemon League, taking on Joseph and the Everton Empoleons. So, Week 1, we had a pretty good match, not gonna lie. Mimikyu picking up those 5 kills, that was a pretty impressive win, and I was very proud of myself to start off the WPL with a win. First win's always the hardest, as a lot of people say. And it's a 12-week league, so we obviously need to win as many times as we can. I'm aiming for playoffs, obviously, and so as many wins as we can get. We're taking on Joseph. He lost week 1. I don't know exactly to whom. LBL, Long Beach Lombres, which is coached by somebody. And let me... Tropify. So Tropify beat Joseph week 1 with his Mega Pinsir team. And that was a very interesting match, I think. As long as the schedule is correct, I should be looking at Everton losing to Long Beach. So, yeah, you guys should have seen that by now if you're following the WPL at all. Again, all the coaches are linked down in the descriptions of these videos, so you can always check out my opponents and things of that nature. Let's talk about Joseph's team. He has Mew, Scolipede Z-User, Arcanine, Haxorus, Alolan Persian, Super Z-User, Rotom, Mega Venusaur, Clefable, Cobalion Z-User, Mantine, and Rhyperior. Couple things about this team. Haxorus and Mew can't use Z-moves, which is kind of cool, because both of them are super fucking scary with Z-moves, and neither of them can use them. So, very stoked about that. Very stoked. Priority options. He's got Mew with Vacuum Wave, Arcanine with Extreme Speed, Alolan Persian with Fake Out, and Rotom with Sucker Punch. So, pretty poor priority options, besides maybe Arcanine with Extreme Speed. Hazard setting in Mew with the rocks, Scolipede with spikes and toxic spikes, Clefable with rocks, Rhyperior with rocks, and Cobalion with rocks. Quite a few rockers on his team, so I am packing no removal. I thought I was. I am packing removal. There we go. Spike Stack's annoying. I don't think he brings T-Spikes against me. Again, I've got Reuniclus that just kind of, sits there. And if Reuniclus is poisoned, then it can't be slapped by the Mega Venusaur. So, either way, I've got the T-Spike remover and the Mega Beedrill that we'll see in a sec. Removal options in Mew with Defog, Rotom with Defog, and Mantine with Defog. Pretty unreliable removal in the Rotom there. Just because it's not really clicking Defog, But we'll talk about that in a sec. 4 times weaknesses in Mantine to Electric and Rhyperior to Water and Grass. I do have that partially covered. I've got both of them covered, essentially. I can hit them with 4 times weak attacks with something. So, yeah, let's talk about what I expect to come and what I don't expect to come. I don't really see Rhyperior coming. Like, it doesn't make that much sense for Rhyperior to come here. And granted, Rhyperior and Mantine cover each other's 4 times weaknesses almost perfectly. That Grass for Rhyperior is just a little bit annoying, but the Water and Electric are covered by them. Because Mantine obviously has Water Absorb as its main ability. And Mega Venusaur can switch into the Grass moves. Actually, Mega Venusaur covers all of those by itself because it resists Electric, Grass, and Water. But yeah, I don't really think Rotom or Rhyperior come. That's kind of the main things here. I think Rhyperior is really dangerous for him to bring because it's kind of setup fodder for a lot of stuff. I don't know. I just really don't see it coming. He doesn't need it to break Registeel. And that seems to be the only reason in my mind that he would want to bring it. But he's got Arcanine Cobalion that can already break it. So it's kind of weird to me. It is definitely his best Zapdos check. But, like, I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. I just don't see Rhyperior coming in this matchup. Rotom, I definitely don't see coming in this matchup. Mimikyu outspeeds it and kills it. And if he was watching my game last week, he'll know that Mimikyu absolutely bopped that team. It's got an okay matchup overall, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense here. I think Mega Venusaur comes for sure to deal with double water on my team, as well as being able to handle the Lurantis. So if he does bring Rhyperior, definitely expect Mega Venusaur to be there. If he does bring Rhyperior, I don't expect Mantine to be there. Just because he's only got so much that he can play with here, because I think Mew, Scolipede, Clefable, Cobalion, and Mega Venusaur all have to come. So that's 5. And that's kind of why I'm thinking the other Mons aren't going to show up, just because they don't have as good matchups. Clefable is very hard for me to beat. I need Mega Beedrill to beat it, essentially. Although I've got some stuff that'll two-shot it. That's my best way to deal with it, is the Mega Beedrill. Mew, I definitely expect to come. There's no reason for Mew not to come to every single game. It's got that, it's got matchups all over the place. I do not prep for Mew. It's basically impossible to prep for Mew. My friend Jed says it best. Prep for defensive Mew and then adjust if it's offensive. But I mean, there's only so much you can do. So I've got Roar. You can see Zapdos on the screen there. It's got Roar just in case he's a setup variant. I've got Toxic on something, I think. I might not actually have Toxic at all. So Mew's going to be really hard to wear down. Scolipede just has a really good offensive breaking matchup against my team. Like, it beats Reuniclus, and he doesn't have a lot else that beats Reuniclus, necessarily. Like, pretty much Scolipede, Alolan Persian are his best options to beat Reuniclus, and I don't think Alolan Persian is going to be able to pull it out. It's not strong enough, and it gets bodied by a Focus Blast, so I really think he's got to rely on Scolipede to do that. Or he's going to switch into Alolan Persian and taunt on it, but who knows. Arcanine has got an okay matchup. It can check the Mega Beedrill. He's got a couple things to check Mega Beedrill. So Arcanine, Cobalion, and Rhyperior are his best Mega Beedrill answers. I'm not sure on that. I think Arcanine fits that the best, although Cobalion with a Shuckle Berry can definitely handle Mega Beedrill as well. But that's why I think Arcanine's coming, despite the double water. It's also a decent answer to the Beware with Intimidate plus Flamethrower. Kind of shuts Beware down a little bit. Haxorus is a good setup sweeper against my team. It doesn't have a great speed tier because Scarf Chomp will still outspeed it after a Dragon Dance, but besides that, it's pretty decent there. Alolan Persian, good pivot for him. It's a fast pivot for him too. It outspeeds most of my team besides the Mega Beedrill, and he can get a clean parting shot off against my team, which is really annoying, but I can work around it. Mega Venusaur is a massive problem for my team. It's got 100%. 100% that thing's coming. I don't have the best ways to deal with it, but I've prepped for it accordingly. Clefable, again, a massive problem for my team. My best fairy killer is like Registeel, Mega Beedrill, so if he can deal with Mega Beedrill with the rest of his team, he's fine bringing Clefable. Cobalion, again, it's his best Mega Beedrill check. That's the main reason I think it's coming. Besides that, it's a good Rock Resist for Lycanroc Dusk. His Rock Resists are only Rhyperior and Cobalion, so Lycanroc Dusk had a pretty decent matchup in prep. I just didn't have the room for it, and we'll talk about that at the end. And then Mantine, I think is maybe his best Primarina answer. He doesn't really have a good Primarina answer outside of that plus Mega Venusaur, but if he's switching Mega Venusaur into a bunch of stuff, then it's going to drop pretty quickly. So, Zapdos. I am specifically running a pressure set this week to run an Air Cutter to beat the Mega Venusaur. Only reason there. Hopefully I can get that off against something realistically. His flying resists aren't great either. It's like Rotom, Rhyperior, and I don't think Rotom's going to come. Rhyperior definitely switches into Zapdos 100% of the time, but he's got to be wary if I have like HP Grass. I'm not bringing it, obviously, or HP Water even for the Arcanine, but yeah. So, physically defensive Zapdos. This is my main answer to A, Arcanine, B, Haxorus, C, Scolipede, D, Cobalion. It's kind of just a blanket check to all of those. I can't really switch into Rhyperior, and I'm not as scared about a non-stab Stone Edge as I am of a stab Stone Edge from Rhyperior, especially if it's like a weakness policy set. I'm in a bad fucking position. Thunderbolt there for mainly the Mantine, but it's also really good damage against, again, anything that doesn't resist electric, which is Venusaur, Rhyperior, and Rotom. Roost for recovery, running a tiny bit of speed here so I can outrun No Speed Mew. I'd imagine like a No Speed Mew would run something along the lines of a Will-O-Wisp Ice Beam set, just a basic sort of bulky set. Mega Beedrill coming in, Poison Jab, U-Turn, Drill Run, Defog, very standard-ish Beedrill there. I really don't appreciate Spikes and Rocks this week at the very least. Granted, my only Rocks weakness rock weaknesses are the Beedrill and Zapdos, but I'm bringing both of them this week, so I need to run Defog. Oh, and Dugong. Forgot about Dugong. Yeah, Poison Jab is my best way to kill the Clefable. It's also doing a hefty amount to the Mega Venusaur, depending on his spread. Poison Jab might two-shot it. A lot of the other stuff on his team doesn't appreciate Poison Jab, but he's got a bunch of poison resists. U-turn just for good momentum. Sort of a basic lead. I can U-turn into something, get a huge hit off on something like Persian if it wants to lead, and I'd be okay with that. Drill Run just there for the Cobalion and the Arcanine. Again, I think they're his best Mega Beedrill answers. And then Defog is just to get rid of hazards. Enough speed on the Mega Beedrill. When I'm in Mega form, I will outspeed Persian, which is a shitload of HP investment this week, which is great. I love when I see that because I can switch into Sludge Bomb pretty easily from the Mega Venusaur. I can switch into Giga Drain pretty easily from the Mega Venusaur. I expect HP Fire, but with this much investment, and if he's running none, it's not likely to two-shot me. Banded Beware two-shots his entire team with Return or Drain Punch, so besides Rotom, which I've got the Shadow Claw on there for. Facade's there just in case I get statused. I'm running a little bit of speed on the Beware. I'm running enough speed for no speed Clefable. I'm aggressively creeping a Clefable running very minimal speed so that I will two-shot it with Return. Unless he's specially invested, he's not going to one-shot me with Moonblast, especially with max HP. And so, obviously, two-shotting him with Return would be absolutely fucking fantastic. Yeah, Beware is just an amazing breaker this week. I could have done what I'm doing with Primarina, and I'll show you that in a sec, but I decided not to just because I didn't think that it was that big of a problem. Yeah, so Beware, again, big wall breaker, and that's the main idea. I can get burnt by the Mew, and I will still two-shot his team with Facade, so that's pretty great. Garchomp, SD Grandium Z, this is my rocker this week with Earthquake Dragonclaw. Grandium Z claims a kill. His ground immunity is Mantine and Rotom. And at +2, Dragonclaw will deal with both. So I'm perfectly okay with that. I'm outspeeding Rotom anyways, so if I can SD on what he thinks is an Earthquake against, I don't know, Rhyperior, Cobalion, Arcanine, then I pretty much get a kill. Grandium Z is there to secure a kill on the Clefable, although it is a massive nuke for the Mega Venusaur. I would love to just be able to get off a Grandium Z. Priority for me with Garchomp is being able to get to +2 and click Grandium Z. It'll get something. Just as long as I get the damage off against something that can't recover. So, be that what it may. I'd love, even if I break a Shuka on the Cobalion, I don't care. That's the goal with Garchomp. Get up rocks, hit him with the Grandium Z. Enough speed on the Garchomp for Mew, and then a little bit of HP. Primarina, I am very aggressively speed creeping this Primarina this week. All the way above no speed Mega Venusaur. Not aggressively creeping like 20 speed Mega Venusaur, but just creeping over Mega Venusaur. I don't think Joseph's that experienced in the format yet to run a little bit of speed on his Mega Venusaur, creeping in. So I'm just creeping min speed. And it's very important that I outspeed that because it's a roll to two-shot it with Psychic after rocks. So that's the goal here. Because I'm modest, that's the goal here. I'm running Kebiaberry, so I can always, I'll live a hit from the Scolipede. Granted, not reliably, but I will live a hit from the Scolipede and be able to kill it with a Psychic. Scald is there for a lot of the stuff on his team. Haxorus, even if it's a SD Haxorus and gets the +2 on me, or if it's Dragon Dance and gets the +2 on me, I live a Poison Jab comfortably, and I'm able to OHKO it with Moonblast. That's what the Kebiaberry is there for with this HP investment. And then 4 in defense for that as well. But yeah, I'm outspeeding Mega Venusaur with this Primarina, which is going to let me outspeed a hell of a lot of stuff on his team that's running no speed. There you go with that. Scald is pretty amazing to deal with the Arcanine and the Rhyperior. HP Electric is obviously there for the Mantine, which is otherwise his water resist. Psychic is there for the Mega Venusaur, and Moonblast just does a shitload of damage to a lot of the stuff on his team. Again, his Fairy resists are his dual poison and his Arcanine. I can deal with the dual poison with Psychic. I can deal with the Arcanine with Scald. So Moonblast is a pretty free click. Not as free as week 1, where Specs Primarina pretty much claimed to kill every single time it came in, although it came in once. That's the whole goal of Primarina. And I know this has been going on for a very long time, but let's finish it off here. Actually, not as long as I'd expected. Reuniclus, Life Orb, Trick Room Reuniclus with Recover Psychic Focus Blast. It's perfect coverage for his team. Psychic hits everything not named Alolan Persian and Mew. So Mew's kind of got to be out of the way before I can, get this going. What is going on here? It's supposed to be shiny, dude. Grrr. I might actually trade out Recover for Shadow Ball here just to hit the Mew and Trick Room. But it's kind of nice to not have that option to deal with. I don't know. Trick Room's kind of a nice option here just in case the Scolipede gets speed boosting or something. I don't know. Maybe he expects me to be Tangaberry, something along those lines. Yeah, I actually don't care about Trick Room. I'll be real. Live editing, I'd rather have Shadow Ball to hit the Mew with, and Life Orb is obliterating his team. if I'm being honest. It's absolutely obliterating his team. I don't care that I'm the slowest thing there, so I'm just going to leave it as is. But, well, maybe I'll change it to modest and add the speed back just in case. Yeah, so Shadow Ball hits the Mew, I guess, and then Psychic just blows through his team. Focus Blast hits the Alolan Persian, which is the only thing that really appreciates Psychic, and Recover for the recovery. But yeah, Modest, Max Special Attack, Magic Guard, Life Orb, like, this just punches holes in his team. Again, this two-shots his entire team, just like the Beware. So some pretty big breakers, and then hopefully a Mega Beedrill clean later. I'm not running a Scarfer, as you can tell, which is pretty... It's not great, actually. I'll give you that. It's not great that I'm not running a Scarfer this week. It's a little bit more reliable to run a Scarfer against something like Scolipede. The problem being, Scolipede outspeeds my entire team. And yeah, so let's get into what I'm not bringing then. Scolipede outspeeds my entire team anyway, so after a speed boost, it's a problem regardless. So I didn't really want to bring a Scarfer for that. And then Scarfer for Haxorus. I could have brought Scarf Garchomp. I'd rather run an SD set and just punch holes in his team. Punching holes and then cleaning with Mega Beedrill later seems to be what the theme is going to be for this one. Mimikyu it's kind of bad this week. I'm not going to lie. Arcanine kind of just hard walls Mimikyu, and that's a big issue for me. Mega Venusaur does the same thing, and it's just kind of an issue. It's a big problem because Mimikyu can succeed against Mew pretty well, so I'm pretty sad that it doesn't have a good matchup this week. Lycanroc Dusk was absolutely on my mind, and I talked about this earlier. His rock resist being the Rhyperior and the Cobalion. I would have loved to bring Lycanroc Dusk. It can always revenge kill the Scolipede. I think he'll be Charty Berry for that reason. Registeel, way too passive. I hate when I draft this Mon against teams that are weak to it, or teams that can absolutely destroy it, because he's got at least, I see Cobalion, Arcanine, Haxorus, and Rhyperior, all of which threaten Registeel out. So way too much stuff pressures Registeel here, and it's just not good enough to get up rocks. It's kind of like setup fodder for a lot of stuff on his team. Unless I ran like a Curse set, Curse Ironhead set, it can kind of set up on Mega Venusaur for free. And then at that point, it might be okay to run against his team. The problem is I don't know if he's going to stay in with Mega Venusaur against a Cursing Registeel, but there you go. I've run that before. Curse Mono Ironhead with Sleep, Talk, and Rest. It's not bad. It's not bad. Dugong, you know, last week was kind of a gimmick. Dugong can't really do that much this week. I can't even Perish Trap the Mantine because he's Water Absorb. So yeah, Dugong, Lurantis had an okay matchup trying to pressure things like Mantine. Mantine doesn't normally run Flying Stab, but it can run Air Slash, so you know, Mega Venusaur pressures Lurantis as well. Lurantis was okay to sort of pressure the Clefable and the Mew mainly, and the Rhyperior as well, but a lot of stuff threatens it, Scolipede and the Arcanine from the physical side, and you can never count out Mantine running Air Slash on the special side. Yeah, so that's the team this week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. This has been a longer team builder than I anticipated, or at least I've been talking for a lot longer than I anticipated. Again, this is week 2 of the WPL, and I'll see you guys for the match.